Hello everyone, in this video I hope to help you in your journey on Kylorne. If you're new to the Stoneworks Minecraft server, I do have a beginner's tutorial video that you should watch first. Assuming that you're already familiar with the server, let's get started. First off, it's very upfront and just kind of blunt, but review the rules. I don't have to get into them now, just because I already have another video explaining those, but the rules can change over time, so just check the description of this video to get it the most up-to-date rules for Kylorne. So once you reviewed the rules, getting into the application process. So the information on how that you could apply, that is also going to be in the description down below. Just some things to consider when you're applying for Kylorne. If you do fail an application, just ask for feedback and then keep trying. I have several friends on Kylorne right now that it took them 4, 5, even 6 different attempts to even get into the world. So if you fail that once, don't give up. Just take the feedback, learn about what you did wrong, what you could do better, and try again. If you do struggle with thinking about proof of roleplay, think back on smaller things that you actually could expand on. So smaller events, projects, or roleplay sessions could definitely be good for an application if you just go into more detail about what it is that you're actually talking about. Put into words regarding the reason, the subject that you're discussing, what happened, what was the effect. Just think of the why and the what happened and the result of proof of roleplay. So like a short summarized example, I built a statue of 2 old rulers who formed my nation. Turn that into, I created a memorial site with 2 large statues commemorating the 2 founding rulers of my nation. Then you can add on to that build by documenting their full story in a book at a memorial site and then copying the book over to a wiki page. So that way, if I visit that site in game, now we just don't have a regular statue. I also have like a book in front of me that I could read about the statue and learn about these 2 people I'm talking about. And then I can also back it up with a wiki page. And all I did was just really copy over the material. But your roleplay experience doesn't have to just be on Stoneworks either. Or it doesn't even have to be Minecraft based. Dungeons and Dragons and other games could be used as well. Just don't forget to show proof. That's the biggest thing. So if you are doing roleplay or some form of world building, or you're writing lore, whatever it might be, you need to have proof of that. So pictures or something in writing. So when you do join Kylorne, congratulations, you got through the application. Now you need to join a nation. So just something to remember, don't metagame. It's in the rules, you can look through it. Metagaming could be interpreted differently depending on the way that you think or who you ask. Whenever you're joining a nation, just look through the adverts. They are allowed and it's totally fine. But in my preference, I would rather explore my options in-game. I believe it's the best option if you truly want to be immersed into the world. We've actually met travelers who were passing and some who were just staying for the night, and we roleplayed. We would sit at like a campfire, they tell us about their character, we tell them what we are, what we do, and then they move on. And those who were actually interested in what we're talking about, they stayed a little bit longer and longer and longer, and then eventually they end up just joining. So it's up to you on how you would like to join a nation, whether you just go through the nation adverts on the Discord, or you travel the world until you find a place that you want to call home. The reason why I got into like the don't metagame part of it is just, don't just reach out to people on Discord and just automatically join without ever meeting them. Obviously, you're going to need to do that if you do go the nation advert route, but you should still have that interaction in-game to really like solidify that character development. Also, just develop at least a character basis. It doesn't have to be totally fleshed out from day one. Just at least have a name and a simple backstory and then build from there. For example, my character's name is Aldrak. He is the head of one of 3 noble clans, which is the Bitterhelms. So the Bitterhelms is a royal clan that are full of architects. They were enslaved to erect statues, builds, and everything for free. During the day, they're on the scaffolding, placing bricks, and at night, they're robbing the fields after food or chickens. They were scoundrels and craftsmen. It's very, very basic, very summarized. And so like that's kind of my establishing lore behind my character, and then I can just kind of run with it and build my own as I go, but it doesn't have to be literally from the day that I join. So be sure that you also develop a dialect and characteristics. It's not like it's required or anything, but I recommend it just because, like I said, it gets you more immersed into the world. It is a roleplay world, that's why we're all here to begin with. But the way that you talk and think should play a part in your roleplay. And just the biggest thing is just stay consistent. Don't break character. For example, there's a character in River Reach. Sometimes they stutter whenever they roleplay. So even whenever the person that's I'm talking to, they'll type out their sentences as if their character is stuttering. As for like my character, whenever I type out my sentences, I replace all the TH letters of the words with a D. So it's day instead of they. I also say your instead of your, or fur instead of for, and I just regard everyone as a lad or lass. It sounds really weird coming from an American accent, but I promise you, like in game, it makes sense. Depending on who you join also, just try to focus on a particular area of roleplay. You can still play the game, of course, but what I mean by that, for example, again in Helheim, there's a druid who lives in a grove within the mysterious forest that was once the place of a great city. He's usually somewhere in the forest uncovering more ruins or artifacts. His fascination with the forest itself and the mysteries that haven't been uncovered yet shows in his roleplay. So out of character, he still takes part in basically everything that we ever have. So definitely establish your character as like they have an expertise in a certain area, and then just try to base your roleplay off of that character's knowledge of certain things. But it doesn't mean that when you're just kicking back, relaxing, and having fun in Minecraft that you just have to only do that. You can do everything and still. It's just whenever it comes to roleplay, have that set up for your character. Also, just be sure that you make it clear when you're using out of character discussions. So like in character versus out of character should always be specified if you break character. Most people use a parentheses for out of character, and then they'll actually use a star for like body language or gestures. And also out of character should never affect your in character roleplay. I'll get more into that a little bit later. Stay as immersed as possible. Sometimes Discord is necessary, but try to limit the use. Have a term for messaging. For example, whenever I have to speak with someone who isn't online, I would send them a Discord message and just see whenever they can meet up in game. I'm not going to discuss what I want to talk about on Discord, but I'll just reach out to them, set up a time, and then whenever we do meet in game, I would regard that like Discord message as a message that was sent by Raven, because with Helheim, it's like a Nordic Dwarven mix. I don't want to get into it, but basically like we deliver our messages by Raven. So whenever, you know, I meet somebody in game after we just established a time to meet, I was like, oh, okay, I noticed that you got my message from the Raven. I'm happy that, you know, the bird found you, whatever. Just as an example. But if you do have to utilize Discord in certain discussions, like sending a map or establishing a time to meet, whatever it might be, do it as little as possible, and then always regard those messages or something in a sense of like, it would make sense in game. Like if you do have to like send somebody a map, like while role playing, you can just be like, here, like I got a map store in my pocket, and then send them the map and then continue the conversation in game, whatever it might be. So just make it make sense and just try to do it as little as possible. So I already kind of talked about metagaming earlier, but the metagaming, just don't do it. Like I said, it could be interpreted differently depending on who you ask or the way that you think, but just really be careful about it. Recognize when it's happening and shut it down. Also, maps are not metagaming. Just so everyone's very, very clear, and I know I'm probably making the map makers very happy right now. Just please don't like blow up on people on like using maps or anything. Let them do their thing. It's allowed. Don't worry about it, okay? However, I don't choose to post the map updates in my nation's Discord because I want to allow people to discover things for themselves. I'll get more into that a little bit later on, but understand that your actions will also have a large effect on you or your nation. Trolling isn't exactly welcome on Kylorne unless it's made aware of and accepted by all the parties involved. So just be very, very careful about the way that you carry yourself, and whenever it comes to like potentially coming off as like trolling or like not taking things seriously. And if your character is confusing to understand, take some time to explain the character to others out of character. I am looking at you, Stara. So it's not really because of like metagaming or anything like this, but I try to stay as immersed as possible. I highly recommend stay as far away as possible from all Discord conversations about Kylorne. A lot of people share their ideas and they share their interests, the things that they don't like, they share plans, whatever it might be, and it's all out of character, it's all fine. No one is technically metagaming, but that is still something that could somewhat have an effect on their interaction in game. People will deny it all the time, but it does have an effect. If someone were to tell me something on Discord and I haven't learned about it in game yet, like I basically try to ignore it as much as possible, and I don't change anything in game. Someone tells me, hey, this nation wants to go establish a trade deal with you. I'm not going to then go out of my way to go meet them in game all of a sudden, because that just wouldn't really make sense. But I do recommend stay out of Discord conversations. If I even tried to metagame, or if I tried to make decisions in character, in game, based off of things that have not happened to me in game, I couldn't, because I literally only am aware of the things that my character has gone through, because I rarely look at Discord. So some things to understand, or like some tips. This isn't Rathnir and Eldom. I know it's very clear, but it's just something that you got to remind yourself. The player count is going to be low, and unless you join a bigger nation, you're not going to see a whole lot of people online or within your area. So don't be upset about not having enough people online, so it basically makes you not want to play anymore. If everyone won't play because they don't have enough interaction, they're the problem. Think about 40 different individuals all having the same mindset, and so they all decide not to play because they don't see anybody else on the server, right? So screw it, why should I play? Whatever. What if all of them continue to put in that effort? Then you would have 40 more people online just because they all made the same decision, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get on today. And then your daily interactions would be so much better. Be active, make events and quests, get projects going, promote interaction and roleplay, and just be patient. Develop your own lore and tie it into other nations or within your own nation. Use existing lore to build off of. So like your character, the land development, or quests. An example that I could use. We have a quest board and a settlement that's placed in the only valley entrance on our eastern side of Helheim. Players within and outside of Helheim can walk into the tavern in search of quests, where our players create and post storylines for others to follow. They have puzzles and parkour, hidden objects, and more. Some of the rewards are extremely valuable, while other rewards are more lore focused. So most players replace the things that they find so that others can also enjoy the quests. So it's just an overall great experience, and it's lots of fun to do either in a group of friends or just as an individual. If you don't want to roleplay with someone, just tell them. If you're on the receiving end, you can't force the roleplay. Just respect that person and respect their request. Just remember that we are all on Kylorne because we've proven that we can take things seriously and we know how to roleplay. Don't judge others and don't assume that they aren't more or less capable. This is a chance to start fresh. Don't bring toxicity, and don't close yourself off to just your friends from Rathnir or Eldom. Make new friends and build new relationships. Give people a chance. Helheim started with 3 people from Simulami on Rathnir and Eldom, and maybe 1 to 2 other people who were friends with us on those worlds. At the time of this video, we're just under 40 members, with maybe only 7 to 9 of us as being people that actually play together on the other worlds. So I do hope that this video helped you. I plan on creating another tutorial video on how to lead a nation on Kylorne, so be on the lookout for that. If you feel like I forgot something, please put it in the comments down below and help out other people that could also benefit on the knowledge that you have to share. But other than that, thank you all again for watching. Good luck on Kylorne out there. Definitely swing by Helheim and say hi, but I appreciate you guys very much. Have a great day.